Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. We are all here for entrepreneurship. You're here to listen to some information that's going to help you become a better entrepreneur, a more successful entrepreneur, or you're here to get the motivation and inspiration. And I think today is a very, 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 very important conversation on how to not run your business so ghetto like I did, okay? Listen, y'all cannot be paying people, one, in cash. Two, you can't just keep paying people from Zelle and Cash App, bro. There needs to be some sort of process in place. And ever since I went into having Payroll, I feel like a more accomplished entrepreneur. You know what I mean? So today we have Ren from Gusto. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm a little nervous,
but
I'm good. Y'all seem like great people, so I feel a little better.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I typically interview entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was important to find a corporate partner who understands entrepreneurship from a more high level, professional level, because we use all these softwares, right? We use all these services, but we never really get somebody from another payroll processor. I won't name any names, but they're not gonna come sit down with you and explain this process.
Correct.
So I do want to understand. Well, I guess you can introduce yourself and kind of the Gusto company and what y'all do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lawrenthia, but everyone calls me Ren. Probably because Lawrenthia is 10 letters and 4 syllables. So Ren is just a little easier to get out.
I like Lawrenthia.
I like it too.
I'm going to call you Lawrenthia.
Well, that's fine. I'm named after my dad, who's Lawrence, so it works. But Gusto, what do I do at Gusto? So my job at Gusto, I work on our community and inclusion team, and we work very much like a startup. So that means I do everything. It is my job at the highest level to make sure that our products, our services, even our internal products are a reflection of our community. So what does that mean? That people who might think our products, our services, or even jobs where the organization I work for, Gusto, make sure that they understand it is accessible. Make sure that they understand we are not just about building a people platform, but we want to make sure, for example, minority businesses, women-owned businesses, small businesses understand that they are our target audience. I love how you started. We are a supporter of Un-Ghetto-Fying businesses. So it's amazing that we are here. all you have to do is call us, and just getting in touch with us brings you validity. Because yes, we started our platform with Payroll, but we do so much more than that now. So if you are a small business and you have 10 people, but you think it's important that you offer your employees healthcare benefits, 401k, which is a part of creating generational wealth. Or even if you have questions about being inclusive and including DEI or going to conferences, anything you can think of that HR encompasses, we can do for you. And the best part about what Gusto does is that it is accessible. It is not something that you have to make a certain amount of money in order to take advantage of. And what I love about Gusto, one of my favorite things about Gusto, is that if you connect with us when you are starting out, as you start to develop, as you start to get so good at your craft, as you decide to figure out what you want, what you don't want, we have been with you from the beginning. So I do think that if you want to have a valid business, if you want to give yourself some structure, some validation, even including us takes things off your plate that you don't even think about. In addition to ensuring that all of your taxes are done. So if you want to buy things in your personal life, we also give your employees a step up in doing all of that. So it's not.
Let me slow it down. You are passionate, first off.
I was practicing before I got here, and I'm just.
And I think the title of this episode is Un-Ghetto-Fy Your Business. I like that.
Oh,
that
good.
was good.
Okay, I got
all right, so grassroots, kind of like a broad stroke of Gusto. Gusto is a you started out with payroll services.
But we are now a people platform.
Got it. So anything HR related.
Anything you can think of.
All right, I got some questions. I'm gonna ask questions for the audience and questions for myself. Okay. But I want to understand this payroll thing, okay? Because, I can get on payroll and I have some people and I pay them on a regular basis. Well, why would I even do that if it costs me to pay? Because now I have to pay a payroll tax.
Because does it really cost you to pay? If you think about it, it costs you. If you are gonna employ people, it's a whole bunch of things that come with that. Yeah. Using us actually saves you money. You just don't realize it.
Explain that.
So there is employee taxes, there are regulations, there are things you have to do in order to be a substantial business. If you want to continue to grow, if, as we've acknowledged, you don't want to be ghetto, if when you decide you want to invest in your business, you want your business to grow, you want a track record of success, you want a track record of doing things on time, you want a track record, even a lot of people don't consider, when you have a small business, if it comes a time where you want to invest in your small business and you might need to go to a conservative institution for money, whether it's a bank loan or anything, they are gonna want to see proof that you are not ghetto. I'll just continue to use that term.
You're not selling your
All you gotta do is call us and we can prepare everything you need to go in there with a business plan to show them proof. We can show them, we can show them the level in which, a chart where you started, where you are, where we expect you to go. We can show this is how you're paying your employees. This is how much money is coming in. All of your record keeping is now off the table. You have to do your taxes anyway. Yeah. And typically if you are a business owner, most people might not be doing this, but if you are a small business owner especially, you should be doing your personal taxes and your business taxes. That is not free. That is not something that you just walk in and get. So employing us, paying us, in having us as your collaborator, that's already off the table. So of course we're not free. We are a business, but in effect, the things that you would be paying for anyway as a small business, regardless of how you decide to pay your employees, you could wrap those costs up into our service. Got it.
Give me the difference between, because as I was going through this process of getting the payroll, they're like, all right, well, are we classifying these people as 1099 or W-2? W-2, I have to pay the payroll taxes. And the people receiving it, that's W-2, they have to pay taxes as well. 1099, I believe I don't have to pay taxes and they don't have to pay taxes either. But what's the difference between classifying somebody as 1099 or W-2?
So at the highest level, I'll call it layman's terms, a W-2 employee is someone that you are investing in for the long term. Because from my standpoint, working at Gusto, we can now offer them benefits. We can now offer them 401k options. We can offer them onboarding. You have decided what options you can invest in for them to take part in. 1099, I need you for a season. I need you for a few months. It's busy season. Maybe you're a college student. Maybe you have a second job. Maybe you're a photographer and this is just extra help. So it really just depends on if you decide to if you decide to partner with Gusto, we call you Gustomers. So I'm going to use that term. So we look at our Gustomers for that. Yeah. We support you how you need. In some cases, yes, it certainly makes sense for you to have 1099 employees. But once you reach a certain stage, you also want to have that conversation about how do you want your business to grow? And it's going to sound cliche, but investing in people, even in theory, even in products, is an investment in yourself. Do you want to retrain people? Are they doing the same thing month to month?
Hold on. So let's say somebody's 1099, then you can't offer them insurance and all this kind of stuff. W-2 you can. Okay, I got you. So let's talk about this insurance thing, because I was just talking to them about insurance, and I'm like, from what I know, I got to pay half of that. And it's a lot. So what's the best way to approach this conversation around insurance?
In my opinion, and I'm biased because obviously I work for Gusto, but even if I did not work for Gusto, or if I decided to start my own business, because that's another great thing about working for Gusto, they actually encourage you to start your businesses if you want to. I think it's a smarter route to use a people platform, with Gusto being my favorite. But as you said, there are other competitors, because now you're sharing the costs. Because yes, you are a small business and you want to offer your people benefits, and you like, I don't want to pay this amount and this amount, but say like, I don't know, AT&T or Comcast, they might be able to approach Anthem or Kaiser or Blue Cross Blue Shield, all these places directly. You don't have to worry about that. You are buying a package.
So it's okay. Explain this with as an example. Kay needs health insurance.
Okay.
Let's say.
Okay. Hey, Kay. Girl, let's get you together. Come on.
What does it cost me, or how do we start assessing this, and what does it look like for me to offer Kay health insurance?
So I think, first of all, it would be the smartest decision for you to. Kay seems awesome, and you want to keep her around. You don't want to lose her. You would talk to your client specialist, the person who you are working with Gusto, and you say, listen, I'm thinking about health insurance. I can't afford this. So you're thinking in terms of individual costs. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, oh my God, I own a small business, and Kay has asked me for insurance. I'm going to have to pay $300 a month. Get out of that mindset. Okay. You are building what you need for your organization. Mm-hmm. So if you say, I am interested in a service from you, Gusto, that includes payroll and benefits for a 10 people team, we're building a package that you can have 5 people, you can have 10 people. What you have decided what you are investing, that cost, it's not going to change. So that's actually the savings to you. But
this is how it works. I'm learning this too. Mm-hmm. Where if the company is providing insurance, or somebody just has insurance, let's say for instance 4K is going to be $700 a month. Mm-hmm. The company. Well, it's not like I have to pay a particular percentage, but we decide what that percentage is.
You work with
us. I pay a percentage of that, and she has to pay a percentage of that, correct?
With a typical organization, yes.
How are the other ways? Is there a world
Some
where...
organizations now pay all their insurance. Some organizations... I'm just saying, there are different ways. Some organizations, they don't offer benefits at all. And I know you were interested in statistics, and I will tell you, one of the biggest problems small businesses have in being successful is maintaining their workforce, because they don't offer benefits, and they don't offer they don't substantiate. They don't offer. So it's the end of the year, for example. Everyone's like, oh, it's time for me to do my taxes. And you've been getting paid in 1099s all year. And you have done amazing. You done showed up for overtime. You working holidays. That is amazing. Until you go to file your taxes at the end of the year and you realize how much taxes you owe because it wasn't pulled out.
There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the morning meetup. Every single month we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month, and every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast. They join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot. Gotcha. It sounds like even offering W-2, also insurance, is more of a retention tool to keep the person around. Because I mean, at some point they're going to need to go to the doctor. You feel me?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think, all right, now that you put it like that, I will actually look into what that looks like, because I mean,
it is a great way. Again,
and I'm sorry, as a company, am I paying less than what I would normally pay if I just went to, what's it called, marketplace or something?
Yes. You're definitely paying less than you would pay in the marketplace, but you're also getting a stronger benefit because you now have all the options. So Gusto takes all of the hard work out of everything for you. So you can say, you know what, I want to offer my employees benefits. What are my options? They might say, okay, let's look in Georgia. And this is just off the top of my head. The options might be different, but it might be like, all right, let's look at Blue Cross. Let's look at Kaiser. Which of these do you think is gonna, suit you the best? And you might actually be able to say, wow, I could loop this in and maybe offer my employees who don't have dependents, I could actually cover this. They don't have to pay nothing.
Oh, because it's okay. Oh, so I can pick and choose who. So let's say, for instance, one employee has a lot of issues in terms of health issues. One is just, fairly healthy. The insurance would be more for the person who has health issues. Yes or no?
For you? No, that's actually discriminatory. So no, we wouldn't do that.
I mean, but that's how health insurance companies work, right?
That's on the health insurance company. That's not on us. Very similar to your car insurance. So maybe at the end of the year, when you are reassessing as an employee, as a business owner, what insurance to assess, maybe potentially they'll say, you know what, you have 10 employees. On average, this is what it looks like for your health costs. Your premium might have to go up because of that, but it will never be an individual employee. You might have an amazing year where no one actually, needs more than they normally would. And maybe your health premium goes down as a business business owner. So it could go either way.
So, okay, I decide to offer benefits for my employees, right? At the time, one's pregnant, one's not, meaning that person's probably going to need some more assistance. But at the time, it's going to be the same amount for both of them. But at the end of the year or the next year, they assess that situation and then say, all right, well, altogether, this is how much your staff or team used. It goes higher or lower every single year. Is that what you're saying?
It could potentially change, but you also could change vendors. I don't necessarily know why you want to do that if you've established a strong network. But again, when you're thinking of us as a people platform, I don't want you to limit it to that one benefit. Because, okay, let's also talk about financial resources. Let's say that you are, I want to offer my people 401k. You can decide to match if you've had a really good year, but you don't necessarily have to. So we're going to offer 401k. So say your vendor is, I don't know, off the top of my head, Fidelity. They might say, you know what? You have contributed a substantial amount of money to this Fidelity account. That might offset your benefits. All of this goes into it. So yes, I don't want to speak this into existence if this is not where Kay wants to be in life, but yes, Kay has twins and, takes 12 weeks off, and maybe it costs you a little bit more money the following year, but now you've offset that cost because the financial organization you've chosen to partner with, they want to keep you because this is real money coming out of paychecks that might offset that comes up. So that's where I say that combining a people platform, you are really sitting down and I'll just call them a specialist. I don't know what we call the Gusto people who actually do this. I don't know what account specialist, something like that. We don't use titles. We're very techie. But it could offset what you want, and you can constantly call them back to say, hey, what's happening here? I thought that this was, this is where I want to invest this year. Or, a good example is COVID. Like, COVID had a huge effect on small businesses. So they were in lockstep along the way with Gusto on ensuring that they knew all the options. Oh my God, they're talking about all these loans we can qualify for in the news. How does that work for my business? So all of these questions and concerns that feel huge, hard to talk about, you have someone you can pick up the phone and just say, hey, what is this about? Or text. Some people don't like to talk, but you have access to somebody you could talk to about it. You could say, you know what, I'm looking at our taxes and I noticed that I'm spending more money than I want. How can I offset that? How can I come up with a plan where maybe at the end of the year, the IRS owe me money? What does that look like? So any and every concern that you might have beyond just your payroll, you now have a resource.
Gotcha. Okay. So just real quick, run down all the things that you offer. So 1 is payroll, 2 is insurance. What else?
I think one that's really exciting is we also offer pay in advance, which is one of our newer features. We also have accommodations.
Pay in advance, like for the staff?
Yes. So if you're if you decide to invest in Gusto and someone on your team is like, oh my God, I need money right now. Somebody in the family has gotten in trouble and I got to help them out. They can actually go through their Gusto because we know when their payroll is coming. We know what is expected, when it's going to hit, and they can borrow from themselves, which is a huge savings if you're a small business than going to, like, I don't even know what they're called, but those places, cash advance, I don't know what they're called, because you might owe a percentage, you might get, one is an emergency that does not have a domino effect on your financial standing, whereas the interest in order to get this money in advance could be a number of things that you really can't live without. It could be your car. It could be, 30%.
I definitely went to a buy her, pay her place.
Right.
That joint killed me. But just saying, if Kate needs some extra money now,
yes,
she would reach out to y'all or she'd reach out to me?
She goes through Gusto. It's through our platform.
And then you all take money, give it to her. And then once I pay what I'm going to pay anyway, y'all just take that back. Right,
but your ability to pay or your guarantor would already be set up. So we might not even need to talk to you. The paycheck that originally was going to go to Kay, we would just take what she's borrowed in advance and give her the remainder.
Is there a percentage that y'all make on that?
I don't think there's a percentage. No? I'll have to confirm. I think it's a service. And the reason I say that, I'm not 100%, I'm going to be honest, but the reason I think it's a service is because it was specifically designed so that the people who need this are not incurring unnecessary financial obligations.
Gotcha. Okay. No, this is good. I'm actually texting my team right now. So I'm with the other company. Okay.
You want to say their name?
I'm with it. No, I don't want to say their name.
It start with an R.
No, it start with an A.
Acronym 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the one that start with an R?
I'm not gonna say their name.
We should.
So everybody on Instagram are payroll start with an R.
So this is, there are essentially, we do the same thing, yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of...
You do the same thing.
Yes.
But they are not built and designed for small businesses.
That's what I'm thinking.
Once you have grown and, spread your wings and you are ready to be a big organization, we love you, but you can't work with us anymore. Yeah. We are designed and built around accommodating a small business. That is our bread and butter. That is what we do. We are a people platform specifically for small businesses, because when our founders designed this and started making this, they realized that it was a very niche market. There was not a lot of options for people who say, you know what, I take pictures and I'm good at it. I'm gonna be a photographer. Like, there's not enough options for those people if they want to validate and substantiate who they are and what they are doing. So that is the difference in our platform and that platform.
All right, so how do I leave that other company? Is it a tough process of going from them to Gusto? Because I rock the show. I like what's going on around here.
So this is what I always say in anything that I personally spend money on. It's never hard. If I am the consumer, it's never hard to leave because I'm not going to give you my money anymore.
But I don't know the transition. Like, what's that process like on the transition? You know?
If I was going to leave one people platform to go to another people platform, I would do it now, because so much is tied to the end of the year around taxes, around payroll. So in order to help us help you, I would do it at the end of a year. Just like you file your taxes for this year, everyone's in January gonna be ready for their W-2. I would not want to slow anything up for my employees, for my team, for my business. So I would be doing that now, so that I can be set up for the next year.
Yeah, and the company I'm with, it was a couple, especially in the beginning. Y'all remember that when that check hit late a couple times? Reese was like, make sure you back up, because you see that. Okay. He's texting you. Yo, but
where my phone?
when that check hit late a couple times, I feel like I came to the office, came like, yo, my check ain't come. And I was like, dang, I don't, it ain't my fault. I paid my side. But y'all, we don't have any issues like that, right? With Gusto?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
No. I mean, there are some financial things that might affect how you get paid, but it would be on a large, like you would know. You'd be like, it's on the news, it's on CNN. Like, this would not be a one-off thing that would derail you.
I see.
And like everything else, obviously, Gusto is a valid and substantial company too, so there are federal regulations that would still kick in and push out everything that needed to happen.
Okay,
and there would be communication in advance.
All right, so just like let's talk about a small business itself right now.
I just want to add, because I got some notes.
Yeah,
there would be help in migrating you over. Okay. So there is an ideal time of year, but if you needed someone to assist you in that, there are people that do that.
But I just migrated over.
Yes, I'm gonna keep my phone out. So
all right, cool. Because I ain't trying to skip no payments.
I know.
I feel like I walk into the door, okay, like, what's up?
Right.
Which right. I need my money now.
Right.
Okay. Yo, first off, you got some notes in your phone about this conversation? Do you have notes? Let's just run through your notes, because I want to know what you prepared.
The pre-call, you kind of, I thought I was ready until we had the pre-call, and I was like, oh my God.
I want to run through what you found through that conversation, because when we started talking about having this conversation, I'm like, yo, there are a lot of businesses that need to be un-ghetto-fied. Simply because we don't know, right? If I need somebody to do something, I pay them. And sometimes that I need them to do something turns into a more regular basis, right? And I was looking it up, and I found out, and I don't know if it's in Georgia or if it's state by state, but it's illegal to have a person come to the same place and work the same time frame and not classify them as W-2. Is that right?
Say it again.
So I was when I was actually going through this process of finding payroll.
So if Kay came here,
so I can't classify Kay as a 1099 employee, 1099 contractor. If she comes to this place from 9:30 to 3:30, Monday through Thursday, she has a specific task. I think by law I can't classify her as anything other than a W-2. So
the answer is tricky. Anytime you're dealing with tax, employees, regulations, it's tricky. As a small business owner, you can determine how you want to classify your employees. But the more you push up against sort of these guidelines, the more susceptible you become to really needing someone like me to iron out a situation for you. Because if you say, you know what, I'm going to keep what Kay might say, you know what, I just want to be a 1099 employee. I know you expect me to come here and do this and do that, but this is what I want to do. And you might say, well, we really need to move you over to a W-2 employee because you're coming here, you're doing this. What you could actually do is call Gusto and say, can I support Kay in her decision and not get audited or not face consequences if the IRS decides to look at me? And you could share Kay's concerns. Kay might be concerned that she wants to be a 1099 employee because she might be about to lose this or want her money to look this, or maybe she's married. She might have all these different things that this benefits her. And maybe it's not really a benefit. Maybe a W-2 makes the most sense because she would actually... a lot of people don't think about this when they're thinking about a W-2 in a small business, but you're also already paying into the future Social Security, which depending on what day you look at the news, we may or may not get. But, you know, when you hit 62, 65, that might be significant to you. The, you know, small business you work for leads to that. Or, God forbid, something happened to you and you pass away. You have now paid into a system that is going to ensure your children until the age of 18 or potentially 24 if they go to college, they now are eligible for that. So there's a lot of benefits to both you and your employees for being on a W-2 system. And I think that the stereotype or, you know, people feel like a 1099 is just cut and dry. Like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a 1099. I'm not responsible for your taxes. I don't have to help you. You go your way, I go my way. But it potentially can hurt a small business even more than it could a contracting situation. Because I also say it's significant, and I only know this because you had me prepared. A larger scale business. I said Comcast. I used AT&T. They also have contracting opportunities, but it is rare that they would use a 1099 because a 1099 also takes a lot of power from the employer in that they someone with a 1099 can go to the IRS and they can say that you did not give them all their hours. You did not give them everything that they were owed, did not do something correctly. And even if it's not true, it is the IRS's obligation to investigate. Wow. So now they have tied up, you know, if you're a larger business, maybe you can continue to operate. Maybe you have the extra bandwidth to answer questions, to potentially be susceptible to, you know, auditing, having your pulling files for the last few years. But if you're a small business, you might not have those additional resources. And now you have to stop what you're doing to make sure that that happens. So I get the ease up front of a 1099, but you never know on the back end how it can affect your business, how it can affect you.
So if I have a 1099, wow, goodness gracious. So they can say, all right, well, he was supposed to pay me this, or I was supposed to be working this, and that's not what happened. But as a W-2, obviously there's a contract.
Right, because they would have gotten that check stub either every other Friday, on the 15th or the 30th. Like, what do you mean? Like,
whoa, I never really thought about that.
I know. See, we both learned stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else I need to know?
I'm trying to go through the horror stories that he is very into horror stories.
Bruh,
okay.
I want to know how us not knowing is going to trip us up. And we just don't know.
Most small businesses, because this came up in our conversation, aren't audited unless they are brought to the attention of the IRS. Because while it could be a significant amount of money, generally it's not, you know, like the IRS is more concerned with getting people who owe them millions. Like they want bang for their buck. So if you are going to be audited, typically it is something like that. It's a disgruntled employee, or it is someone who felt like they were not, you know, taken care of, or there's a dispute that you have not been able to rectify. Or they might say, I said claim 0 and they put 12. It's something minor, but it could really derail a small business. So that's another reason why it's good to have someone like Gusto in your corner, because you could just be like, Gusto, these people are saying this, that, and the other, and they could step in and have the records, have everything ready to go, basically to protect you.
See, that other company, they didn't educate me in this way.
You probably didn't ask them a whole bunch of hard questions too. You was acting like I was taking a
but
test.
still, I feel like I should know, because the sale was, all right, well, your employees need to probably pay their taxes throughout the year instead of just 1099. Because most of us, we'd spend, right, Reese? We'd spend the money, 1099, if you got the whole check. And then at the end of the year, we're like, bro, I can't pay these taxes. Goodness gracious.
And I already told you, that's why most people who only get paid on 1099s within a small business generally like, I gotta leave. Like, I love working here. This is great. But I can't be writing a check to like $5,000 or more every year to the IRS. Like, this is crazy.
Wow. Okay. Ooh. All right, hey, listen, y'all.
And another thing.
Talk to me.
You get money back. A lot of small businesses who have W-2 employees like the idea of getting a tax refund back, even just like a normal person. So, you know, we kind of picking on Kay, but say Kay overpaid. All she got to do is file her taxes, and now she getting her tax refund too, just like everybody else. Yeah. Whereas with a 1099, that is never typically, you know, a possibility.
I hope I get some money back too.
I hope I do too.
Because I get I'm on W-2 myself. So I put myself on payroll. I put
that's very
my
smart.
wife on payroll. So yes, that's why the amount of money I said I was going to pay myself, I'd be looking at my check like, yo, what happened? Where'd all this? Look, I'm feeling you. So I'm like, hey, what happened to my check? Why am I?
I think that's a really good idea for a small business owner because it just keeps them sort of alert to
100%
what it looks like. So when you get that check stub, you like, dang, okay, so Gusto took this out for it. So I pay for insurance, I pay for 401k, I'm paying for this, I'm paying. That's what it actually looks like. Yeah, this is what my employees are feeling.
When y'all ain't get y'all check that one time, I ain't get mine either.
See?
Okay? I check. Well, I don't know where my check at. But now I'm mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Another thing. Oh, what the heck was I going to say? I wanted to ask about crap. I don't know what it was. Anything else we miss?
Let me check.
Okay, go on and check. Okay. Let's get to it. Hey, listen, do me a favor. There will be a link somewhere. Oh, yeah, we can pin it.
Oh, that's a good one. So most people who use Gusto, they're not up to date on state compliance. I'll give you an example. So, for example, overtime. Everyone thinks of overtime as 40 hours a week. Like, okay, I'm telling you now, I don't want to pay you overtime. You need to clock out at 40 hours a week or whatever it might be. But in the state of California, overtime is by day. So if you work over 8 hours a day, you are now eligible for overtime. That is a very important consideration as a small business owner if you are trying to budget for certain things. So as state compliance rules change, Gusto is going to make sure, depending on where your employees lie, that you are aware of certain things. And should you decide to, like, everybody work in Georgia, but should you say, you know what, I met this really awesome person in Kansas City, I really want to bring them on as a remote employee. So now you can just say, what would that look like for me? So Gusto might say, okay, that's fine, but be aware when this person works this way, you're going to have to pay them more. So Gusto would also not necessarily deter you from growing in that way if you wanted to have larger, people all over the country, but they would also be responsible for ensuring that you understood the pluses and minuses of doing that along the way. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So it's not like that in Georgia because they be working a little more, but not really. So
it's not like that in Georgia.
We have a very,
yes.
I think we have a very
Cali's very people centric. So
culture here. So we're pretty much, we what 9, 10, So we work about 6 hours a day.
Oh, I got a really important thing I got to say.
Okay.
I forgot this, but it's been 6.
Oh, it's on your notes?
Yes.
All right, so let me finish this because I'll forget. I don't got the notes. But I wanted to know, so like in some days, we just don't have anything to do. We can leave early or like this holiday coming up, they just get to go for like the whole week, right? But sometimes when we're in a season of like Podcast Summit, we're working more. Is that considered overtime or is it by hours? But I don't know if we committed to just 40 hours.
Right. It's how you designate your employees. Are they salaried? Are they hourly? That's going to determine how that. I'm hourly. Sometimes, I'm salaried. So sometimes I might get a good week with Gusto where maybe I'm not, putting in the effort of quite 40 hours. Yeah. But then it's those weeks in the summer where I feel like it's like 60 hours in and it might be Tuesday. So, my check is pretty standard.
I got you. Yeah, so we're not hourly because, we're not.
It depends on your role and how you regulate your roles.
Okay. All right, cool. Go ahead.
Okay. So you do get 6 months free through social proof. So that link, I know, isn't that important? So that link that Bill created, if they go through that and they just want to try before they buy, 6 months, which is half a year, gives them more than enough time to see the benefit of this.
I like that. Okay, so 6 months free. Gusto.com/go/BD/social proof podcast.
Yes.
And we're going to make it shorter one day, social proof.
Okay.
So
we can make it shorter, but I want to make sure Bill gets his credit because he's really good at this.
I want to make sure I get my credit.
But if Bill get his credit, you get your credit.
That's a fact.
So, yes.
I like it. Okay. Anything else we're missing?
I do have a note down here that compliance for a 401k is mandated by both state and the size of the organization.
What is a 4? I was just asking them, what is a 401? I have no idea what a 401k is. I worked as a server. We didn't really get into all that. But.
So at the highest level, a 401k is an investment account that you don't have to be like this amazing, you don't have to understand stocks and investments and how they go. You can just say, I want to make sure when I retire, when I'm no longer working, there's something. There's something that is going to continue to pay me, which is why there's age limits also on a 401k. And you start to get deferrals. You're eligible for deferrals at a certain age.
Deferrals.
Or not deferrals, I'm sorry. What's the word when you take something? Not contribution, withdrawals. I'm sorry.
Okay,
yes. So you're eligible for withdrawals at a certain age. But basically, a 401k is designed as a sort of an IOU for yourself. And it really is an emergency fund. It really is. So, for example, very early in my career, I didn't really know what a 401k was, but it sounded like something I needed to have. So I was like, all right, I'm going to sign up for a 401k. I ended up losing that job. So I knew I had a 401k, but unfortunately for me, before I found another job, unemployment wasn't doing it. So I went and got all the money out of my 401k. There were certainly, it wasn't that much money back then, I was young, but still, there were certainly tax implications for doing that, but the money was still mine. The money is always yours. You can pull it out because there are benefits to a 401k. So you contribute to your 401k first. So you are paying yourself first. What does that mean? That means this is crazy, but before taxes comes out of your check, before anything, your 401k to yourself is going where it goes.
Yeah, that's smart.
But what you have to balance now, if you run into a situation in your life where you're like, I need to go touch that 401k, the government's going to be like, well, you're going to have to pay us, and you're going to have to pay us a little bit more. So the tax in pulling it out, that's when you have to say, is this worth it, or should I leave it there?
Got it.
For me, in my early 20s, it certainly was. Like, I was like, yes, give me all of it. Yeah. But now I'm in a situation where, like, the time between joining Gusto, I didn't actually, my 401k has just continued to grow. So through COVID, through presidents, through the stock market going up and down, you have this nest egg to yourself. And as this nest egg grow, you can start to decide what you want to. Ultimately, the reason for the nest egg is when you're old, when you're no longer working. I shouldn't say old. When you are at the over 60 and can pull it out, you are eligible for it. But what if you want to buy a house? What if you want to send a child to college? What if you have a medical emergency? You still have created this nest egg to yourself that as it grows, you open up options that you can use the money with. You can borrow money from yourself in your 401k interest free. So you can say, listen, Fidelity, I have an emergency and my insurance isn't going to cover this cancer treatment. I need to pull out $5,000. They can say, okay, how do you want to do this? Do you want the money altogether? Or do you want to just borrow it from yourself and pay back monthly? If you borrow it from yourself, you don't have to pay us these crazy taxes. If you want it, you're going to have to pay to keep this money.
I got you.
So as your 401k grows, the ability to do things and cover costs, if you need the money, start to change.
For your job, do they match it? They did a match?
We don't have match.
You don't got a match? So you just put it in you put in whatever amount you want to, and they manage the growth of that particular portfolio of stocks or whatever.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm probably not going to match.
Well, I think for a small business, the option to match, it's not typical. It's not a typical benefit because you are a small business. Like when you start thinking about match, and again, Gusto runs itself very much like a startup, like a tech startup. So we don't have match, but we have stock. So you might, I don't want to put you on the spot because it seems like a lot of people in here might work for you. But you might have Christmas bonuses. You might have, quarterly this.
I don't celebrate holidays, guys. So
you might have, If
I did, maybe I would. But
small businesses generally reward in a different way. So it's not necessarily about the match. It's about the option in which to give an employee access to wealth. And another good thing about a 401k is that you can will it and there's a beneficiary. So if something were to happen to you, again, there's that option of creating very indirectly generational wealth. Like if you don't use it, you can give it, you can pass it on.
Does it cost me to have them take advantage of a 401k?
It doesn't cost you in that you have decided you're not going to match. But in building your package, if that's an option that you want, it might cost to include that in the overall package.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
But the more option, the more substantial your the people platform is that you want to provide, also the individual sort of options aren't as substantial. Like it costs more to per item to do something that might be 3 services versus if you want 6 services.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And again, we've already said 6 months free.
We're going and 6 months free. Right. Okay.
Just call them and tell them you want to try it off for 6 months.
Say less. Okay. We
everything 6 months.
Everything 6 months free.
Yes.
So all right, y'all. Do yourself a favor. Go to Gusto gusto.com/GO/BD /Social Proof Podcast. Listen, Un-Ghetto-Fy your business.
Yes,
okay?
Validate
Pay
yourself.
these people through a process that allows them to get the tax benefits of, paying their taxes on a regular basis. You positioning yourself as as an actual growing business. And I like what you said earlier where you were saying, if I'm looking to get a loan from the bank or I want to get some funding, you can help me with, this is what we've been doing and showing the growth of the business, because I think that's super valuable.
The world crashes again,
all your taxes
like with
and
COVID.
Stuff.
All of our people was good. Like all that PP loan mess, all that we are not ghetto. So we did everything the right way. We went over options and benefits and ways to keep our small business owners not only bringing money in, but their employees getting paid the correct way. So that's
Y'all
also
help with no PPPs though.
Legally, yes.
Yeah,
like
sure.
nothing. Like we,
Yeah.
We wasn't 6 months later finding out we did something wrong.
Yeah,
but
I actually had staff, and so yes.
When we got those options, we passed them on immediately.
Oh, did y'all help them with the process of the forgiveness as well?
Anything that was available,
yeah,
we supported.
One of them, I got like 2, I think. One of them I had to pay back, and I didn't
didn't check something right. See?
Exactly.
Was you with the A people?
Yeah,
See?
Man. See? I don't like them A's.
See? Gusto would have been like, did you check line 1A? You'd have been like, I forgot it. Let me check it. Boop. See?
Hey, man, it might be another little situation coming up again, I think. All right, so listen. Yo, listen. Again, gusto.com. If you support your own business and you support this podcast, please go to gusto.com/GO/BD/social proof podcast. Again, if you support yourself and you support this podcast, because I'll benefit a little bit, okay? So if you're going to get Gusto anyway, just use my link, bro. Don't want to be a hater.
Please.
You know what I mean?
Can I say one more thing that's really important? So one other thing I want to mention, also I want to give Brandon Beal, who's LinkedIn, I sent y'all to a shout out. He's saying no, but I have to shout him out. It is certainly important to Gusto that we support small businesses, but it's even more important that all of the small businesses we support understand how important inclusion is to us. So regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, regardless of your disability, whether it's invisible, whether it's visible, we want you to know we support you. If there is an accommodation that's needed in order for you to access our tools, we got your back. If you feel like you are a Black girl who has a braid shop and you want to go to the next level, guess what? We got you. If you are in the Asian community and you feel like no one is going to understand the specific things that have been holding you back, guess what? We got you. And these kind of things are really important to Brandon Bill, again, whose LinkedIn I sent you to. So I want to make sure that I stress that to you because, again, we've already mentioned the A group, and then I already told you there's another R one out there. I do believe that's one of the things that sets Gusto apart. If you ever visit our offices, if you ever pop in, which we certainly encourage our customers to do, you will see people who look just like you walking around the offices. You will see people who understand what your concerns are in growing a business, whether you are a Black business, and I'll use Black because I am that, and you want to say, well, how do I make my reach bigger? I love the Black community and I feel like supporting the Black community is amazing, but I want everybody to use my product. Guess what? We got you. So anything that you can think of that you specifically would encounter, I want you to know that we have people in the offices, people on our team to help us with that. If you happen to go to gusto.com, I would encourage you to take a look at all of our affinity groups because it'll give you an idea of all the different communities and all the different things we do for inclusion, from the military to even my new favorite group, our 40 plus with Gusto group. Because, you know, once you hit 40, things start mattering more. In addition to your knees hurting for no reason, all the stuff that we talked about from 401k, I know that it matters more. So I did want to make sure that I gave that shout out again to Brandon Beal. So blow him up on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
He's like, no, but these things are certainly important to him. And I have to also tell you guys, I'm very proud of the work he does in the community. Truly.
Hey, look, man, we can't end it out no better than that. What's your Instagram, actually?
It's Lawrenthia. Just Lawrenthia. It wasn't taken.
It wasn't taken. Anybody get that?
No.
All right. How you spell it?
It's LAWRENTHIA. Lawrenthia.
Spelled just how it sounds. Make sure, listen, if you are watching this, send Lawrenthia a DM right now about, if you found it valuable, because my ultimate goal is to make sure that we're providing value on this platform. And I want you to feel the love from our community saying, yo, what I did today was a good thing. I want you all to show some love.
Somebody told me I was gorgeous 2 minutes in. I was set.
Hey,
so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you married?
Not really. Almost no.
Send them DMs, my boy. Send them DMs, you heard? But thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We really, really value this information, and definitely we gotta do like some more, even more like in-depth situations on specific topics. I think we can kind of move forward with that. So
I would love that.
Thank you so much for coming, man. Listen, do yourself a favor. Go to gusto.com/GO/B as in boy, D as in David, /Social Proof Podcast and get your 6 months for free on Gusto, okay? And also, go get you some social proof, man. Go build something. Go build something really, really big. But it's your responsibility to come back to your community and teach them how you did it. It's the only way our community grows. All right? We are out of here.
That.
Peace.
That was really good.
First off, congratulations on watching this whole episode. If you like this episode you just watched, check out this one right here. I handcrafted this one for you because you like the one you just watched. Check it out.